The views expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan, a WBKB News public affairs program. Insights deals with the issues affecting those in the community, as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights into Northeast Michigan.
Welcome to Insights. I'm Alexandra Johnson, and today we're here with Jessica Kruger. She's from the Alpena Alzheimer's Association. Hi, Jessica. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So can you start off telling us a little bit about the Alzheimer's Association?
Yes. Well, we are a nonprofit organization who raises awareness and raises funding for looking for a cure for Alzheimer's, and been in round for probably 30 years or more, and we've been in the Alpena area for probably at least 15 to 20 years.
So you're here just in the community helping out anyone who deals with Alzheimer's as well as family members?
Yes, we cover 11 counties in our region here. So we work with support group leaders that are dealing with working with the caregivers and their families. We do educational programs for awareness. We do events to raise money for looking for the cure. And yeah, we take phone calls and walk-ins and people just wanting more information and support.
Okay, and I know there's a lot of myths out there about Alzheimer's and what it actually is or how it affects a person. So can you just tell us a little bit about Alzheimer's to clear up any of the myths?
Sure. Well, there's a lot out there that shows the deterioration of of how the brain deteriorates, and it is a fatal non-curable disease at this point. And for many people, my grandfather's just getting old, and he's doing what everybody does. You forget where you put things and you forget your memory, but there's such a fine line. It blends into there's actually something happening in the brain. It's a disease process, and it's missed very often because it's a complicated matter when you're dealing with the brain.
Right.
We can't even have a true diagnosis until an autopsy is performed.
Oh,
that's
wow.
that's how secretive it almost is. But there are signs and there are things that can be done to get a proper diagnosis, but oftentimes people don't visit their doctor because they just think this is just a normal part of what's going to happen to me when I get older. And if that were the case, then most 30 and 40-year-olds who are busy could say that they have a little bit of them. But there is something that can be done if it's early on enough where certain medications can help with that.
So there is definitely a distinction between someone who's just growing older and losing their memory a little bit versus actually having the Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, absolutely. There's certain signs to look for, and misplacing your wallet or your keys and not being able to recover your steps or retrace your steps, that's a sign versus I lost it, I found them. Also not being able to formulate thoughts and words that you used to be able to put together in a sentence. Occasionally forgetting a word you're trying to think of or something, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a disease process, but
Right.
When you start to forget things that a lot of times it's the spouse or the closest, daughter, son starts to notice these things with their parents, but there is a lot of denial. There's a lot of myth into this being something other than normal process.
So once someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's, is there a way to slow the process or retract and get some of your memory back?
No, there is no retracting, unfortunately, at this point. they're in the very early stages, which is why it's so crucial to be getting your physicals and talking to your doctors about, is this a possibility for me? Looking at your family history. There are a lot of genetics involved in this.
It is genetics.
It is, especially for those who have the earlier onset, when they're 40s and 50s and early 60s, that tends to run in the families. But to answer your question,
you can't retract it. It's just once you have the disease, you have it.
Yes, and then early on, and as I was saying, thank you, early on, the medications that are out there nowadays can really help with slowing the process down. They have shown to have some real success with kind of really not stopping it in its tracks, but holding on to those memories for maybe another 10 years, 5 to 10 years.
So are there like memory or brain exercises they recommend people doing to help keep your memory and slow the process as well?
They've gotten away a little bit from stating that doing certain things will lead to staying away from this disease, or that if you do a lot of reading or crossword puzzles that this will help keep away this disease. And there is no known way to avoid this disease entirely, but certainly exercising your mind and using any tools that you can, such as reading and puzzles and crosswords and a lot of various
doing whatever
activities.
you can.
That does show to enhance and keep brain activity moving as much
of
as
course.
possible.
So what is, real quick, what is something that everyone needs to know about this disease and why it's so important that we let everyone know about it?
The big thing is that we are starting to face a increase in people who are becoming diagnosed with this, and it's not just because people are living longer, but that is one of the reasons, because this is an age-related in many cases. After 85 years old, 1 in 3 people will be diagnosed with Alzheimer's. After 65, it's 1 in 9, which is still pretty high.
Yeah.
So now we're starting to face the baby boomer generation getting into those years. And how many of those people are going to live into their 80s and 90s? There's probably a lot. And so the economy is not going to have what we need to sustain the amount of money that's going to be needed to help these people. Medicare and Medicaid will be flooded. It's something like 500 times of what we're spending right now in 2050. So
it's something that we really need to be aware of and do our research on.
Well, and more than just for money, our families, our children, our grandchildren are looking at living longer years, and which will mean more diseases into their later years.
Okay, and real quick, let's let everyone know how they can contact you or get a hold of the Alzheimer's Association.
We are located at 109 North 2nd Avenue in Alpena, which is the center building downtown. And our phone number is 800-272-3900. And that's available 24/7.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jessica, for visiting with us today and sharing this wonderful information to inform the public.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, we appreciate it. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Insights. June is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, so today we are sitting down and talking with people from the Alpena Alzheimer's Association, as well as family members who have been affected by Alzheimer's. This is Kathy Nowak, and her father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So how are you doing today, Kathy?
Good.
Doing well. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about, you said your father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Can you tell us when you started noticing signs and kind of what those signs were?
Well, it was probably about 10 years ago. He's 86 now. his behavior changed. He was forgetting things like normal people do, but
And like what type of things was he forgetting?
He was forgetting where he put things. He was forgetting, sometimes he would forget who people were, not family members, but people that he knew for years. He forgot how to turn the faucet off, and that was my first clue that there was something wrong. His behavior changed. He was a little more frightened of things. He knew something was wrong, but he didn't want to really deal with it. His father had Alzheimer's, and so he pretty much knew that there was something going on, and he didn't know what to do.
So was he just fearful of admitting that he felt differently?
Right. He was a very strong man. He was a state policeman, and took care of his family, and this was something totally new for him, and he didn't want to deal with it.
Right. And are those typical signs of someone who's dealing with Alzheimer's?
I'm finding that that's the case. My mother and I go to monthly Alzheimer's support group meetings here in Alpena, and when we listen to other people talk, it's all the same. Pretty close to the same. The member that has the dementia is usually frightened, usually doesn't want their family member, their close family member, to leave their site, that sort of thing.
So what was it like for you, or continuing, what is it like for you now? How do you live with someone with Alzheimer's? What do you do to help them?
Well, when my dad is now at a rest home in Alpena. He has been for 3 years, but before that, he was slowly going downhill for 7 years, and it was hard. It was hard on my mom, especially because they just lived there together by themselves, and it's very stressful, nerve-wracking. You don't really know what they're going to do, when they're going to do it. You need to try to keep them safe. You want to make sure that with their behavior changes that they aren't getting angry, or you have to stay safe yourself. So what we had to do is, and it was a great help, the Alzheimer's Association was a great help with monthly support group meetings, because we wouldn't have known what to do without it. And we learned, they directed us towards a elder care lawyer that was very helpful to us, and we ended up getting him into a rest home in Alpena, and he's safe there. He's happy there. He doesn't know who anybody is, but he's happy where he's at home.
Good. At least he's happy.
Yeah, at home he was scared. He was scared all the time. So
what do you do? Just so other people know what to do, how do you get someone with Alzheimer's? How do you get them help? Or what are some steps to take to maybe preserving their memory or slowing the process down?
Well, the only thing that I can say is, or talk about as far as getting help, is the Alzheimer's Association, because that's where we went. I'm sure that there's other places, and the Alzheimer's Association can direct you there. In Alpena, that might be able to help with your specific problem, but with us, we went to the Alzheimer's Association, and they directed us to the meetings. The meetings are wonderful. There's people there that have family members that have Alzheimer's. They also have what's called Pick's disease. They have other forms of dementia. It doesn't have to be Alzheimer's that they help you with. One thing that I did learn just recently in an Alzheimer's meeting from a flyer that they gave me is that more people die from Alzheimer's than die from cancer.
That's a huge statistic that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, the reason that you don't know that, or that it's not noticeable, is that when you die from Alzheimer's, you generally have another health problem that they use as a diagnosis for the reason for death, like if they have a heart attack, or pneumonia or something like that that they actually die from, but they had Alzheimer's, and the Alzheimer's disease weakened their body and caused them to die. So people don't know that, and
Right.
and
Not many
Alzheimer's-
people know that that Alzheimer's does that to you. A lot of people just think it's just you're just losing your memory from
Right.
old age. So
Right.
that's a crazy statistic,
Yeah.
and it's something to be aware of.
Yeah, and it's very important for people out there to volunteer and to help, and because we're all, we're all here on this earth together, and we need to help each other.
Right. I agree. It's something we all need to be aware of and help build each other up in these times of
Right.
need. So thank you so much, Kathy, for being here with us today and sharing with us kind of what it's like to live and deal with Alzheimer's that a family member has. So we really appreciate that, and you're helping everyone out by letting them know.
Well, thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Insights. Our third guest is Annie Hepburn, and she is the facilitator for the Alzheimer's Awareness Support Group. Hi, Annie. How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
Good, good. So you're the facilitator for the support group. Can you tell us a little bit about the support group, who you work with, and what it's like?
Sure. I run the caregiver support group here in Alpena County. There are other support groups in different counties. We cover like 11 area region county. So I do the Alpena one on the second Wednesday of every month from 11 to 12. And I focus with the caregivers themselves. We do that. We don't have the person with the dementia come because it's more difficult for the caregiver to open up. In that support group, basically, it is a safe place for them to come, open up, express what they're going through, maybe challenges they've had throughout that week or month. And besides it being a safe place, it's also a lot of education and resources available for them. Usually there's anywhere from 5 to 12 caregivers, sometimes more, and it's just an open support group where they come and express their feelings and offer one another support. Sometimes I am just there for the educational piece or just the listener. So they share some of the challenges in caregiving might be, how do I communicate with them? We usually tell them to approach them from the front slowly, give them simple commands. The more you can be in their reality, the better you are. If you try to get them back to like today is, what date it is, maybe sometimes they're back several years. Be in the moment with them. It's okay. I always say if there's no harm in them hurting themselves or others, it's okay. We can't change everything, and we're not going to change their thought process.
Okay, so since your support group is based on just giving support to the caregivers, what I understand is the caregivers, they're constantly caring for these people with Alzheimer's, and it can be quite a bit stressful. So can you tell me what it's like to be a caregiver and what they deal with?
Sure. A caregiver's role when they're caring for somebody with dementia or a memory loss disease at home is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There usually is no break. Their roles have maybe changed from just being the husband or the wife to being both, the husband and the wife. So their roles might have been doing the yard work before, and now it's paying the bills, doing the dishes, the laundry. If that person is up all night long, that caregiver is up all night long as well. So we do see a lot of caregiver burnout,
And what is like the rate of burnout for?
I don't know the exact rate, but what I see as a support group leader is that the caregiver a lot of times is declining right with their person, and sometimes they'll decline quicker because that is when they forget to care for themselves.
And that's a shocking statistic just because it's so stressful on them, correct?
Exactly. And they're also going through some, I like to say, kind of grief, because they're losing the loved one that they knew. They're losing their wife, they're losing their mom or dad or just a sibling, because they're declining right in front of them. Even though physically they're good, their mind is not. So they still have that person, but it's not the same person. So they grieve differently through the process, and then, when the end of life comes, they they grieve differently, because then that final loss is that that person will no longer be with us. So I always encourage the caregivers to try to do one thing for themselves. You know, take 15 minutes to yourself. If your person is sleeping, sit down, you know,
Relax.
let's not worry about the dishes or something. Take that moment for yourself, because it's going to help. Try to take time to go to your own doctor's appointments to keep your health in front as well, because you're just as important as the person.
Right, and so is that something you guys go over in the support group, not only supporting each other, but how to take care of themselves a little bit so that they don't deteriorate just as fast as the patient they're helping?
Absolutely. And you know, also myself as a facilitator, I have strong relationships with the caregivers, so if I am concerned about them, I will even talk to them after the group to just say that, you know, I recommend that you might need to go to your doctor because I'm noticing these signs, or I just feel that you're really frustrated this week, or feeling a little bit more depressed, and making sure that they're taking care of themselves. Because when we're a caregiver or caring for somebody else, we don't realize what's going on with ourselves, and that's at all different levels of caregiving. So
Right, and I know you said that as a caregiver, they're taking on two roles, either husband and wife, or taking care of their mother or father, and doing a lot of different roles. So how specifically can a caregiver help to give proper care to the person with Alzheimer's? What specific things can they do to keep that person safe, or
depending on the level of the person with dementia or Alzheimer's, everybody's different. So some people might be trying to elope, so putting alarms on their doors, or the Alzheimer's Association has a safe return bracelet where the person wears the bracelet as well as the caregiver wears the bracelet. Okay. So, if they're even in a car accident, that the people that are coming, the emergency care that's coming to the scene, know that this person is a caregiver and that person has a memory disorder. Okay. So there's some of that. Also, hiring people in to come and help you from a home care agency, or NEMSCA or hospice, or any of those home care agencies that might be able to provide a little bit of care for those people at home, to help that caregiver out. There's also the adult daycare center at the health department that gives them a break. They can go 2 to 3 times a week and have that break.
Okay, so there's a lot of different things they can do. To wrap things up a little bit, can you tell us how people can get involved with the Alzheimer's Center or the support group as well?
Sure. As a support group facilitator, I am a volunteer with the association, so I can help with that. There's also other ways that they can just contact the association and help. We used to do a memory walk. We're not doing that this year, but we always are looking for different assistance within the office and helping out to educate people on dementia and Alzheimer's.
Okay, so there's a lot of different things people can do to volunteer and get involved.
Correct.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Annie. We really enjoyed talking to all 3 of our guests today on the show and learning a little bit about Alzheimer's awareness. So be sure to join us again next week on Insights.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. If you have any comments, suggestions, or topics you would like to see on a future show, please email WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.